Today I've got the basketball crossovers tutorial you've been waiting for. I'm going to show you how to create your own shifty ankle breakers, completely new moves, and come up with your own combos that are deadly in games. Coach Jesse Minshew with Get Handles Basketball. Make sure you stay tuned for this entire video because as it goes along, we're going to get crazier and the stuff at the end is absolutely mind-blowing. Okay, so I probably shouldn't be putting this on YouTube, but I'm going to because this is going to show you basically the process that I use to come up with a lot of the new moves that you see on my channel. I'm always coming up with new moves, new combos for you guys, and this is the process I go through. So click that like button if you appreciate me giving you this video. So the very first thing you want to do, just to get the more basic type stuff down, and again, we're going to get crazy as we go along, but is just keep in mind your main dribble moves, okay? So you got your regular dribble, you've got your inside out, you've got your side to side V's, you got your forward back V's, and again, each one of those is an individual dribble this way, and then this way would be like your sham god, right? Your pull back, your roll forward. Then you also got your crossover, you got your between the legs from the front, between the legs from the back, behind the back, and your spin move, right? Those are all your basic, bare bones, minimum one dribble moves. You want to keep that in mind for everything else that we're going to go through for the rest of this video because that's one of the big parts of the foundation for coming up with new moves and combos. Okay, so this next thing you probably will see coming, but the one after, I bet you haven't. So the next is very simple. You just take those individual elements and bring them together to come up with new combos, right? One of your basics will be between the legs, behind the back, right? We've seen that before, but the point is you can string multiple moves together, 2, 3, 4, 5 moves to come up with really longer, crazier combos, or try to think outside of the box of things that you haven't seen a lot of people do, right? Like a behind the back into between the legs from the back. You don't see a whole lot of players doing that move. So that's how you can kind of come up with some different combos and give yourself new ways to keep challenging yourself. But the next tip I'm going to give you is going to help you take all your individual one bounce moves next level and get extra crazy with them. But real quick, if you're digging the video so far, make sure you click that subscribe button and click that little bell icon to get on that notification squad so you can catch the newest videos the second they come out. These last 3 sections are where the moves start getting really crazy. The very last section's insane. But the next thing you'd want to do is start thinking about your footwork, right? Changing your footwork is something most people don't think of, but it can give you a completely different effect on your moves, give you a ton of new options, and come up with some crazy sick moves that work really well in games. So the things you want to keep in mind is some of your basic footwork patterns. You've got your out jab, right, with either foot, right? If I do an out jab with this hand having the basketball with a regular dribble, it has a much different effect versus if I out jab with the other foot. Or if I do it while I'm doing a crossover, right? Or if I out jab while doing the opposite foot while I'm crossing over, right? So that's going to change the effect of things. Now, that might not seem super crazy, but think about some of your other footwork patterns now. You got your cross body jab, right? You've got your scissors, right? Where your feet come up and down at the same time. You've got your hops. You can hop on one foot. You can add some movement also within those hops, right? You could hop to the side. You could hop to the other side, right? Adding the crossover in the mix of those will take them next level, give you some different options. Or if you want to get extra crazy, get good at popping that dribble and floating it and then adding multiple steps in. So I could float, step, step, and then go into a move, right? Or step, step, change the move up, right? So that's how I come up with a lot of individual one dribble moves that are more game specific, not too flashy, that'll work well because the footwork at the end of the day is what sells fakes and get defenders moving and gives them the reason to move, right? So by adding that into the mix, it allows you to come up with some crazy new stuff, but your coach will probably be okay with most of that. So simple thing to keep in mind, playing around with the footwork, adding different footwork elements in, and maybe even adding multiple steps and footwork patterns into a one dribble move. This next way of going about it gets a little more detailed, and the last one, again, is going to be extra crazy. But real quick, leave me a comment down below. Let me know who you think is the best in the game at coming up with crazy new moves. The next one is focusing on the individual execution points. So we talked about the footwork and the different things you can do as far as your individual dribble moves, but what about like what your eyes are doing, right? What about the way you're leaning your hips and your chest, right? If I cross over and lean into a fake this way, it has a much different effect than if I'm leaning this way and going into that same crossover. The defender's going to react differently. It's going to look differently on camera and when people are watching, right? So that's one thing I do a lot is mess around with changing which direction my eyes are looking, the way I'm leaning my hips and my chest, maybe doing it more upright, maybe coming down, paying attention to all those little execution points, and then also how I'm dribbling the basketball, right? Am I going to have a high ball in hand time like I typically tell my players to do? Or maybe from time to time I'll say, hey, for this move you want to break out of that and leave the ball floating out there to bait the defender or whatever the case may be, right? To open up different options or to free up your feet to move a little bit more. So you can change that side of things to really change any single move you have and make it a little bit different and make it work for different game situations and come up with some crazy new stuff. This last one will help you come up with some insane stuff, the sauciest moves you can think of. You could take all the stuff we've talked about so far and put it in the mix with this, but all on its own, it's gonna add a whole new level of difficulty. So adding that other stuff we've talked about is gonna be a little bit more tough. Now real quick though, before we get into this last one, make sure you click that top link in the description down below. If you wanna really take all your moves next level, that's a workout called the Defender Destroyer workout. It's already out thousands of players in minutes. It only takes 5 minutes to do that workout, and I'm sure it'll help you too. Just click that link, pop in your email. I'll send it to you instantly for free. Now, this last thing is gonna allow you to come up with some of the most saucy, insane moves you've ever seen. They're gonna be a little bit more flashy though, and a little bit more street ball, typically speaking. Some of them will probably be okay with your coach being okay with them and refs being okay with them, but some of them are gonna get crazy, so keep that in mind. And what it is to do 2 moves, 1 bounce. Some simple ones that maybe you're more familiar with would be like you've got your inside out, right? And you've got your between the legs. So 2 moves, 1 bounce would be inside out and between the legs in 1 bounce, 1 dribble, right? We're combining those 2 concepts into 1 dribble. Another example would be behind the back. Another dribble is the inside out. So inside out, behind the back would be like this, okay? Now, those are things you might have seen before, but let's talk a little bit more extra crazy. What about behind the back and between the legs in 1 bounce? You might have seen this before maybe from some street ball players, but it would look like this, or you could do it like this. 2 moves, 1 bounce, okay? Now, you can let your imagination go wild. You could go reverse between the legs with the inside out. That's the hot sauce hurricane, right? But what if we start going even more next level? What if we go 3 moves, 1 bounce? So we could come here, here, and then let it come under that other leg, right? I just came up with that off the top of my head, right? This is how you could come up with some insane new moves. Now again, this is a little bit more street ball. Coaches aren't probably gonna like it, but if you're looking to get some more oohs and ahs and come up with some crazy stuff, this is how I used to come up with a lot of street ball stuff when I was into more of that side of things. So if you're looking to come up with some crazy new moves, this is the thought process I do for a lot of them. There's other ways I go about it, but again, if you just take this concept and then once you get good at it, think about how you can combo it into other moves or how you can add different execution points or how you can change the footwork, yeah, you can come up with some crazy stuff. So look, if you found this video helpful, do me a huge favor. Make sure you click that like button. Make sure you also click that subscribe button and click that little bell icon to get on that notification squad so you can catch the newest videos the second they come out. And make sure you check out this video and this playlist. You're probably gonna like those as well. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more and make moves today.